You know, there's a lot of misinformation, and the public schools are not doing a great job in educating young people, especially when it comes to hate and anti-Semitism, Holocaust education. With us right now is Holocaust survivor. He's 85 years old. Sami Steigmann, he wanted to speak about the Holocaust to a middle school in New York City, MS 447, and the principal lost her principles. She wouldn't let him speak because she says he's too pro-Israel, even though he's speaking about the Holocaust. Sami, welcome to the program. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Zev, and very happy to address your audience.
Thank you for being here with us. It's an honor and a privilege to have you join us on our program. So what happened? You like to speak about the Holocaust to different groups, and especially public school children. And what happened when you got in touch with MS 447 with Principal Irene Rush? She was a rush to judgment about you.
I personally did not attach. There was a parent that heard me speak, was very impressed with what I had to say, and she contacted the principal. The principal probably looked at my sides and decided that my presentation is not fit to the schools. But what she did is she lumped together two things. Number one, how shall I say, I was not approached, okay, did not ask me questions, did not tell me, I don't want you to talk about this or that. And for me, I don't want to be controversial. For me, what's important, I talk about hope, about unity, okay, about learning from the past, not to make comparisons because things and times were different, but, okay, to understand that in the past and what's happening even today, people did not react in time and appropriately, and they kept escalating. So we have to educate the next generation, not only to be knowledgeable, but also to be active. I mean, knowledge without action does not mean a lot. And that is my goal. So I wish I had the opportunity to talk to the principal and to coming to a understanding between the two of us, okay? Because I'm quite sure that she probably did not intend, to hurt me.
But you basically said that since you're pro-Israel, since you believe that in your heart and you believe that, so therefore you're not qualified to speak about the Holocaust. In order to speak in her public school, you got to be an anti-Israel person, even if you're a Holocaust survivor. That's really what she's saying.
Well, I don't know the composition of her school, okay? And as you know, this country is very divided. And probably she had, how shall I say, maybe people that feel are anti-Israel, and she probably felt that would be a backlash. But that does not, what I say privately, has nothing to do with what I say in school.
Well, your website doesn't talk about it. It talks about your Holocaust experiences. So she went to she searched you online and found out you pro-Israel. She did her homework. That's really what happened. Right on your website, you don't say anything about the Israeli conflict and about Hamas and about October 7th.
Well, I don't want to be controversial. You said it, and I'm very happy.
But you know what? Sometimes we have to say the truth because the truth will set us free. And if somebody is anti-Semitic, then it has to be called out upon it. Forgive me for saying that, and I respect you, but this person and this principal did the wrong thing because basically what she said was she doesn't think that Sammy, that your presentation is right for our public school, setting giving his messages around Israel and Palestine, she claimed. You didn't write that on your website. You weren't talking about you were talking about the Holocaust. So, which leads me to what I said before, Sammy, that in order to speak in her public school, you got to be a Holocaust survivor who hates Israel.
Right. Well, I'm an Israeli. I mean, if I'm not going to talk about it, okay, then okay, I'm denying, my ID. The same thing. I do not initiate a conversation, but if somebody will ask me, all I'm going to say is that I do not expect them, okay, to agree with me, but all I expect them to respect that I may have a different opinion. And I feel very strongly that if somebody asks a question, I have to answer it. I do it in a non-controversial way, but all I'm asking is to have respect that I may have a different opinion. How can you educate somebody if you don't talk about the subject? It's beyond my comprehension. If you try to evade it, okay?
Now, your message is very, very important. Now, how do you feel about the fact that there was a whole brouhaha? People were upset that the public school wouldn't allow you to speak because you're pro-Israel. And the Department of Education issued a statement which basically upheld the principal's right to not have you speak because she's correct and not having you speak because you're pro-Israel. What do you think about that?
To me, it does not make sense. We live right now in an era when the right is wrong and the wrong is right. Okay, everything is upside down. And I have a saying, and I say that there is a virus that can never be eradicated, and that is bullying, bigotry, Jew hatred, hate, racism, and ideology. The only way that we can combat it is only through education. And I feel very strongly that once somebody is, okay, indoctrinated, it's almost impossible to bring him to a critical way of thinking. And I'll give you an example. A friend of mine invited me to go to Washington Square Park to talk to the Gen Z Holocaust deniers. And among others, okay, he started talking to a Pakistani woman. She was in the mid-30s, I believe, a relatively young woman. And I did not ask, but when he asked her about what her opinion is about what's happening in Middle East, she used the word genocide. No matter in which way the conversation went, okay, genocide, genocide, genocide. So he said, oh, by the way, I brought somebody, okay, that is a Holocaust survivor and also an Israeli. Now, keep in mind, I came to the United States in 1968. I lived almost for 60 years in the United States. Okay, when he mentioned that I am an Israeli, she looked at me and she said, you are part of the problem. That is what indoctrination does. People do not understand what it is. And in this country, there is no education, there is indoctrination. The other thing that also that I would like to talk, and I do it in things in a non-controversial way. Okay, but one of the things, the Holocaust mandate was approved in New York in 1994. In 31 years, they do not have a standard curriculum, and it's not enforced. And one of my goals is to speak to the state senators and to tell them they must enforce it. I am not looking for a legislation. Okay, it's totally meaningless. It has to be with, okay, defunding that particular school if they do not follow, okay, the law.
No, it has to be enforced, and that's why I'm glad it's important to speak out and let people know, because sometimes we Jews say, we brush it aside, and you can't brush aside anti-Semitism. And the fact is, there's not just the principal that I think is faulty, or MS 447 principal and Rush, and I mentioned the Department of Education of New York, where their spokesman was Nicole Brownstein, who supported the principal. Even the mayor, Merrick Adam, I was surprised that he said was the right choice. Why is it the right choice not to have you speak in the school? For the life of me, I cannot fathom.
Well, I wish that I had the opportunity to speak to him, because I know that he's loved in Israel. He is very pro-Israel. So that surprised me. Okay, I don't have an answer, and I wish I could talk to him and find out why he feels that way.
No, in fact, when I do speak to him, I will ask him that particular question, because, listen, it's important that people understand about hate, and we have in New York City, and it's around the country, it's around the world, there's a hatred towards Jews, hatred towards Israelis, anybody who supports Israel, and unfortunately, we're going to see, and in fact, I want to get your opinion. We have a mayor-elect in New York who basically says he's anti-Israel, he's pro-Palestinian. He said that. I'm not even sure his Department of Education will be any different. It'll probably be worse. He wants to put Jamal Bowman, who hates Israel, to be in charge of education, one of the choices that he's considering. So I was curious to get your reaction to the fact you think things will change under this new mayor. You want to get this implemented, more Holocaust education?
I am an optimist. I will die an optimist. And we went through many difficult period of times in the things where it got better. So I'm saying things will get worse before they get better. But one of the things that I want to mention, in the Haggadah, there is a passage that in every generation they try to annihilate us. Many civilizations disappeared, but we prevailed. We are still here. And to the world, I have a very strong message. We are here to stay, whether you like it or not. And okay, so I am not worried about uh, Mayor-elect Mamdani. Okay, okay. First of all, he has to get through the councilman and everything else. Not everything that he wants to do, he will be able to accomplish. Okay, but it sounds good, and young people do not understand socialism. And when they hear free buses, free everything, they love it. So obviously they voted for it.
Well, so I like to joke, Sammy, like he wants free buses, free meals, free restaurants, free Palestine, free unemployment is what you're going to end up getting too. With
There
that,
is no such thing as free lunch.
there's
Okay.
always somebody got to pay for it. Our
Right.
guest is this 85-year-old Holocaust survivor, Sami Steigmann. He speaks in public school. He wants to educate people about what he experienced in the Holocaust. And New York City principal Anne Rouge wouldn't let him speak because he's too pro-Israel. She found out on the web that he's too pro-Israel, even though he doesn't speak about it, and banned him from speaking in her public school,
But it's different what they say
247.
publicly. It's different what they say publicly and what they do in schools. It's totally irrelevant. Okay, she's mixing two things that are not the same. But my mission in life is an acronym of a Hebrew word, emet, which means truth. And this is to educate the next generation. I don't want to make comparisons with the past. Okay, there is no comparison with the past. There were times different, the way people talked different, the media was different, everything was different. Okay, everything started with words in bullying. Did not start suddenly. It took years, okay, to indoctrinate, the people. The second one is to motivate them to be the best that they can be, to empower them to become upstanders. Knowledge without action, in my opinion, is totally meaningless. And the other one is about tolerance. And for me, it's accepting other people's opinion, other people's culture, and not to accept other people's misbehavior. The one thing that I'm very unhappy what's happening in this country, people have forgotten how to disagree in a civil way. Everything, is hate, okay, and is taken out of context. I mean, anybody, if you want to take anybody, if you take things out of context, you can make them look very bad. And I never had a backlash. I've spoken to 1,200 students, not a single Jewish kid. And what I do is when I talk to the teacher, to the principal, I tell them, look, I would like to say A, B, C. If this is against, okay, the school's policy, I will agree with, I will not talk about it. But at the
Has
same
that ever
time,
happened where the school said that don't speak about X, Y, Z?
yes.
And what kind of topics they tell you not to speak about?
I think it was with October 2nd.
But have
Okay.
you gotten questions from students when you lectured about
No,
October 7th?
No, I told the principal or the teacher, I don't remember who it was, okay, that I would like to say something in non-controversial way, but as an Israeli, I wanted to talk about October 7th. And she said, I don't want it. So I respected that. So 85% of the teachers, of the principals, okay, have no problem with it because I don't do politics.
But
Okay.
my question to you is, in the course of speaking during the last couple of years, have you ever had a situation where a student said and they asked you a question about October 7th?
Once I talked to the principal and or the teacher, and they said that I can say anything I want, okay? And I emphasized that I do not ask anybody to agree with me, only respect that they may have a different opinion. I have no, okay, I do not get the backlash. And that is the whole point is that I wanted to understand, okay, that we have to learn to communicate without hate, okay, and in a civil way to disagree. We have different opinions, we have different people, we have different backgrounds. Why can't we talk like human beings? Why do we have, okay, to talk with the hate?
That's the problem in America today. Thank you for watching. If you like this content, you like our programs, please like and subscribe, as it helps the channel get these important conversations out there to a larger audience. So please become a supporter of Talkline with Zev Brenner by liking us, by supporting us, and telling all your friends to watch. Thank you.